The man's first act after being reborn is to willingly agree to his wife's fake divorce. He sells the house before his wife can change her mind. While his wife is busy rekindling her romance with her childhood sweetheart, he is already left with the money from the house sale. In his previous life, after losing his job, he worked 3 jobs a day to support his wife and daughter. Eventually, he became ill and died of a terminal illness. When his wife found out, she wanted to get rid of him as a burden and took their daughter to live abroad with her childhood sweetheart, blaming him for not giving her the life she wanted. She had wasted 20 years of her youth on him. Their daughter also looked down on her father, feeling ashamed in front of her classmates. To cut all ties, his wife changed their daughter's surname to that of her childhood sweetheart and showed her marriage certificate with him. Originally, his wife had forced him into a fake divorce by saying the factory would give them a house. But later, she used the excuse of divorce but not living apart to enjoy his hard work while secretly being close to her childhood sweetheart. Now that he's no longer useful, his wife finally reveals the truth. She married her childhood sweetheart shortly after their divorce. For 20 years, he was supporting someone else's family. After hearing this, his wife left without looking back. The man only learned the truth on his deathbed, realizing he had raised 2 ungrateful people. Fortunately, heaven gave him a second chance to start over. He returns to 10 years ago, on the day of the fake divorce. Watching his wife and her best friend whispering outside the window, he feels furious. His best friend had always been trying to break up his marriage. Now, she is urging his wife to quickly divorce him to please her childhood sweetheart, who is now the deputy factory director. Under her influence, his wife becomes eager. However, she doesn't want to let go of him. After some discussion, they decide to fake the divorce. That night, his wife asks him for a fake divorce, claiming the factory will give them a house. He expects her to be stubborn, but she agrees without hesitation. This time, he plans to make it real, leaving his wife homeless. The next day, they get the divorce papers. His wife lies, saying she needs to temporarily move in with her childhood sweetheart to avoid suspicion, promising to return and remarry him once the house issue is settled. Her childhood sweetheart arrives at his home, and seeing his daughter happily running into her arms, he feels relieved. Before leaving, his wife orders him to clean the house regularly, not wanting to come back to a mess. He smiles coldly, knowing he'll never see his wife again. Soon after she leaves, he sells the house and goes to find an old classmate. In his previous life, both he and his classmate were laid off and started a chili factory together. But his wife, fearing they were too close, forced him to leave. Later, his classmate's business grew big and she became the richest woman in town. But instead of reflecting, his wife blamed him for missing the opportunity. Now, with a second chance, he decides to rejoin the chili factory and make it successful. However, the factory is facing bankruptcy. His classmate is about to give up. With his experience, he knows the product is fine, but the problem is marketing. To help the factory sell more, he spends all the money from selling the house on ads. After a month of heavy advertising, the factory turns around and makes 200,000 yuan in a month. But his ambition doesn't stop there. As the brand gains recognition, their chili will soon be sold nationwide. To thank him, his classmate throws a grand celebration at the most luxurious hotel in town. Meanwhile, his wife feels something is wrong. Over the past month, he hasn't contacted her at all. Every time she returns home, the door is locked. She fears he is angry and decides to return and remarry him, but her best friend stops her, saying she just got rid of him and shouldn't make the same mistake again. While she hesitates, her childhood sweetheart suddenly arrives with a toy. After a month of getting to know each other, she grows fond of the daughter and decides to adopt her, holding a naming ceremony tomorrow at the hotel. Facing her warm invitation, his wife reluctantly agrees. To make it look real, her childhood sweetheart chooses the most luxurious hotel, but the banquet hall is already booked by the chili factory. Despite this, guests are amazed and praise his wife for finding a good match. On this special day, her best friend even encourages her to kiss her childhood sweetheart. To avoid embarrassment, she agrees shyly. Meanwhile, their daughter also shows her loyalty by kneeling in